Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Extraordinary Expletive. You got your boy J Dubs on the mic over here.
Kenny G's on the other side, and today we were going to have the talented Mikael Russell on, talk a little, shoot the shit, have him play guitar for y'all. But unfortunately, we had some scheduling conflicts, so hopefully we can have him on next week. I really look forward to that. But today, instead, we're going to be talking about dead musicians.
And and the impact they left.
Yeah,
This is a shout out that we had, a request from our buddy Dante DiLorenzo. I think it was a really good idea. Shout out to Dante and the Heavy Sauce Hand. Check out his Facebook page. He's pretty talented motherfucker there. But yeah, so discussing dead members and dead people.
lead singers.
Where do we start?
I would want to talk about the 27 Club first.
Yeah. We discussed it's a very weird thing.
Very coincidental thing.
Yeah.
It's just so basically, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's a title given to musicians who die at the age of 27. Uh, because famously in the 60s and 70s, it was Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and
Jim Morrison
all died at the age of 27. But it all started originally with Robert Johnson, the blues singer, who died at the age of 27. And then again in the 90s, you had Kurt Cobain, died at the age of 27. And then Alanis Morissette, or not Alanis Morissette, Jesus, what's her face? I'm sorry, we filmed this part one time, and I was talking about Alanis Morissette, so that's why her name was in my head.
Yeah, I fucked up and forgot to hit record.
Yeah. Oh, God, what was it? The girl who sings Rehab.
Amy Winehouse?
Amy Winehouse died at 27, too.
Oh yeah.
So,
So it's definitely a number that it's weird how, I don't know, what was that, their peak? You know what I mean?
yeah, it was kind of like whenever they were at the top was whenever they went down, because Amy Winehouse got really famous, and then she just died in her sleep, and Kurt Cobain got, Nirvana was, working on their fourth studio album, died, shot himself,
Yeah, allegedly.
allegedly.
But that's, I don't know. It's still a crazy concept to wrap your head around. Like they were all 27. That's fucking weird.
I think something that has to do with it, though, is like the lore of Robert Johnson, because Robert Johnson famously said that he met the devil at a crossroad and sold his soul so he could be a good musician. And there are actually a lot of people back then who said, yeah, he was horrible. He wasn't that good. And then one day he was just, this amazing blues singer. So, I don't know. So that's where it started, and then just
So you think maybe these guys kind of sold their soul as well?
no, because Bob Dylan says he sold his soul to the devil, and he's like a shaveling corpse on stage anymore because he is like 80, mid 80s.
Yeah.
But and then it was too, whenever all those people died, whenever Jim Morrison died, the Doors stopped being a thing. When Jimi Hendrix died, there was no more experience. When Janis Joplin died, her group was gone. Kurt Cobain killed himself. No more Nirvana.
Yeah, a lot of them split up, and it sucks. That's all you have now is just those memories, the albums that they released, and videos and shit. But the impact that their deaths had on like fans and listeners was huge too. Like I remember watching videos of Kurt Cobain's death, and there's people in Seattle like literally crying. You know what I mean? Like never met him before, or nothing, but they put such an impact on that person's lives. It's sad to see them go and realize you're never going to hear anything else from them.
A lot of times, though, I think whenever like the lead singer of a band dies, I think the band should probably cease. I mean,
It's hard to get a new singer.
Yeah.
Because that's your sound,
yeah, you can say what you want about the instrumentals, but like the singer is your sound.
Yeah. I mean, and you can, get another guitarist and get somebody to play those same notes. You can't get somebody whose voice sounds exactly the same, you know what I mean?
I mean, as a singer, you looked at as a frontman. When people think of that band, they think of you. And if people think of Slipknot, they think of Corey Taylor. They're not thinking of maybe
Mick Thompson and shit.
Maybe they'll think of Mick Thompson.
Yeah.
Maybe because Mick Thompson's the only one that's mass has stayed the same the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, I think of Joey Jordison, but he's just an
He's
amazing
not even in
drummer.
the band,
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's sad.
clown. But I don't know what. Yeah, I mean, you can't replace someone like Kurt Cobain on vocals though.
No,
It's hard. Uh, Alice in Chains kind of done it with Lane Staley. William Duvall, it's not the same, but a lot of that too is Jerry Cantrell carries the vocals.
yeah. From what I heard, I mean, I actually haven't listened to them with the new singer, but they said that he does a really good job.
They've been around for 11 years with the new lead singer.
I don't, I don't listen to him.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
But then you got, like Wayne Static had just recently died, and Static X. They kept going. They actually just came back and did a tour this year. And
Who's their new lead singer?
I don't know his name. But yeah, I thought they were doing like a,
Like a tribute thing?
yeah, or if they were gonna do like the hologram deal. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But the weird thing is like the guy who sings actually wears a Wayne Static mask.
Oh, that is.
So it's
that's creepy.
creepy as shit.
That's creepy.
But from what I hear, he does a pretty spot on job.
Oh, jeez. What if it's revealed that it is Wayne Static? He never died.
Yeah.
It was just a publicity stunt.
Or he actually did die, and it's really his face the guy cut off. And wears.
Jesus, you went in the dark route there.
Yeah, two types of people in this world.
Oh man, I know that Guar still tours, and Otis Urungus had died.
Yeah, they replaced. I mean, they didn't replace him, but they got a new singer, and she's a female. That's
The weird part is though, Otis Urungus was the last original member of Guar. So like, when does it stop being Guar?
yeah.
Are they just always gonna replace members? Are they like the Wu-Tang Clan?
Wasn't that what you said? Like, they made it that way so that Guar could live on forever. Like, you could literally replace the members, and you still have that persona, so you could have somebody just fill in as them or something.
I don't know. Maybe I don't remember saying that, but
I swear I heard.
I
you say
never,
that.
I never thought about it like that. But
Yeah, you know what I mean. So okay, the original member died, but this
Yeah, but
guy's still here.
I don't know. At what point do you just become a cover band?
Yeah, yeah. You're no longer the original anymore.
Yeah, there's no
Like,
one. Like, okay, for example, with Nirvana, if you have Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl, and you're like, here's a new lead singer, I'm like, that's not really Nirvana, but you just.
Yeah.
But.
I don't know if I'd listen to it. Like, I don't know if I would dig it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I would be as into it.
I would still have to sit back and listen to the other albums. I mean, like, I would appreciate it in the attempt that they're trying to do, but it's just never going to be the same. And, I don't know, it's sad. It really is. Like, going back, okay, we're talking like the Doors. Morrison was a fucking crazy person, man. Like, he obviously did a lot of drugs, but he...
It's kind of how he died.
Yeah, I mean, most of them, sad to say, but I mean, I guess that's part of the rock star industry. You know what I mean? You get to that level and it doesn't matter, and you can do those things, but sometimes you get carried away, I guess. But with Morrison, man, he was so influential. Like his music was poetry, and they just had this vibe on stage, man. I could listen to the Doors all day, especially their live stuff. It's nuts.
Kind of with what I said earlier, though, I think that's part of why they're held in such high regard is because, they died so soon they didn't have time to fail.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nirvana, 3 albums didn't have time to fail. Amy Winehouse, 2-3 albums didn't have time. The Doors, I don't even know how many they had.
I'm not certain either. I think 2 or 3.
Jimi Hendrix,
Definitely at least 3.
Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, they just didn't have time to go through like their, end of the Beatles phase where it was just weird, and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, the music never progressed to anywhere to where it could be judged as shitty.
Yeah, basically the sound they had is what
it's gonna stay.
That's it. Yeah.
Always.
Sublime, 1 album, and people fucking love Sublime because Bradley overdosed on heroin.
Yeah.
And Sublime with Rome came out, and then it's all right.
It's not the same vibe though. It doesn't have that feel. It's literally almost like a whole different band.
Yeah.
Like, and he doesn't sound anything like Bradley, and I know he's not trying to at all, but like their music just
it doesn't, like, every time I hear Smoke 2 Joints, I'm like, this is a jam. But then stuff with Sublime with Rome, I'm like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, like this is good, but it's different. It's more that modern reggae style now, and it's just I don't know. They don't have that party feel anymore. However, like I said, influences, man, they were influential as shit. That shit still carries on today. Like like we talked last week about Badfish. They people go to see that because it's that experience that you get to see Sublime all over again. So maybe in essence, like them dying gives other people an
it just made
opportunity.
them a martyr.
Yeah,
Same things in the hip hop community. People talk about Pac and Biggie. Why? Because Pac and Biggie died.
yeah. You don't really hear people talk too much about like Bone Thugs and Harmony and shit anymore.
Yeah.
The only people that talk about 50 Cent nowadays is uh, Floyd Mayweather, and they just and Ja Rule. But everybody looks up to them as a role model. Like
Yeah.
that's the epitome of what they want to become. People listen to Nirvana and they think, oh, dude, like I gotta be able to play like Kurt. Like I gotta get to that level of stardom. Like Nevermind blew the fuck up, and people tried to match that hype almost.
Oh, in the '90s, especially, people were like, "Oh my God, there's this band from Seattle. Let's go to Seattle and sign every fucking band we can."
Yeah,
Graffin Records, what did you do? Like,
but
or no, I guess it was Sub Pop.
yeah, Sub Pop in the beginning.
Jesus.
But going back to Biggie and stuff, same concept. You said he had what 2 albums, and
And it's weird because the first one was Ready to Die, and then he died, and then after he died, the album that came out was called Life After Death.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, we shouldn't talk about Tupac because Tupac's still alive. So.
yeah, for sure. And that's a cool conspiracy theory to talk about too. Especially, Tupac has released the most music for being a dead guy.
Yeah, and movies.
In movies, yeah. I mean, but the albums that came out after he died were crazy. Like there was 8 of them, I think, after
Something
he
like
died. And if you look at each cover of the album too, it's almost like they're playing a story that goes along with his whole not actually being dead conspiracy story. Like there's a picture of him like up on a cross. Like
Did you ever see the the Chappelle show where he's in the club
yeah,
and
yeah.
Tupac starts playing?
Wrote this a long time ago, a real long time ago.
94. Feel like CJ from San Andreas. You probably never heard about him. He was a congressman. like, yeah, and then he I don't know. Tupac toward the end of his life actually he was Machiavelli by the end of his.
Yes.
Changed his name and everything, and maybe Tupac is still alive. I saw this article by the Hard Times, which is a parody website, and the headline was, "There is no conspiracy. I'm dead. Confirms Tupac Shakur." I'm like, that's pretty good because there's a lot of people. I remember TMZ a few years ago got a photo of this guy from like a club in New Orleans who looked exactly like Tupac.
Yeah.
Like you see it, you're like, wow, that's Tupac.
I've seen photos nowadays too that look like him, but he's like older.
Yeah.
And he's some dude living in like South America,
I think the whole conspiracy, well, because here's why the whole conspiracy started too, was because, so Tupac gets shot, he's in the hospital, he's not doing so good. Then he's doing great, it's been like 4 days, and all of a sudden he's dead. And then when he's dead, he's cremated, and allegedly the outlaws smoked his ashes. They mixed it with some weed and smoked him. So there was no body to look at, so people were like, well, he faked his own death because he was doing great, and then he just died.
He just wanted to get out. Like, you definitely had somebody. Like, he did get shot. That's proof. And
well, yeah, he got shot before that.
yeah,
That's
so
what
maybe
the song
that's why he faked his death, because he wanted to get the fuck out of that game.
That's why him and Biggie were beefing, because he accused Biggie of shooting him, and then he wrote "Hit Him Up," where he's like, "That's why I fucked your bitch,
You fat motherfucker."
yeah, West Side." And then Biggie hit back with "Who shot ya?"
Oh,
And
okay.
it starts, and he's like, "Who shot you, motherfucker?" Like, oh, okay, so I don't know, but it's the appeal of like those rappers. People are like, I want to be Pac, I want to be Biggie, because those guys went out on top.
Yeah, for sure. And not even like overratedness. They were amazing. Like
They were great rappers.
they were great rappers.
I think Biggie was better, but hey, that's just the East Coast in me, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm drinking a 40 right now.
It's your boy, Pinky's out, bitch. They were sweet though. And like we said, it's one of those things that gets mentioned often. You talk about a rapper, like you're gonna hear Tupac and Biggie be on that list for sure.
Yeah,
Top
yeah.
10 every time.
Every
Unless you're Greg Hamilton.
every genre though has that one person. Um, it's never somebody living. It's always like somebody who's dead that people were just like ooze over and they idolize so much. Like with country music, it's been Hank Williams. People were always saying like, "I want to be like Hank Williams." Hank Williams died in the backseat of a car.
Yeah.
Like, and that's part of the appeal though. Is like Hank never had time to screw up. Well, besides
His racist shit.
his racist things, but
Yeah.
you know, uh, and then
Yeah, I was just having a discussion with Todd last night about Hank. We were listening to Hank Williams around the fire. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He was showing me some shit I'd never heard. I'm like, okay, but that's what everybody says is old time country. It's not this new poppy bullshit. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear Hank. So
and then and then there's other bands too where like Cliff Burton from Metallica. Think about it, Metallica's had three out of the same 3 out of 4 members their entire career, and had Cliff Burton not tragically died in that bus accident, he would probably still be in the band.
yeah,
I
and maybe the snare on fucking Saint Anger wouldn't have sounded so bad. He could have given his opinion.
see
about
that was the thing though, is whenever he died on the Master of Puppets tour, and then they recorded And Justice for All, and they were like, Jason Newsted, our new member, but Lars Ulrich was mad at him because he wasn't Cliff Burton, so that's why And Justice has all the bass turned down.
Oh,
Lars Ulrich is a piece of shit, like, and he just had him turn all the bass down. So because he didn't, again, Jason Newsted was a new guy, and he was just mad because there was a new person. But what are you gonna do? Do you want to make a new album, or do you just want to stop being a band?
yeah, because you guys are getting pretty fucking popular, and it's
Yeah, Master of Puppets was like their masterpiece too. No pun intended. I mean, it's probably the best Metallica album musically, and I actually I actually saw a shirt that I was gonna buy. It has it's a picture of Lars Ulrich and Cliff Burton like standing next to each other, and the shirt just says it should have been Lars.
yeah, that's fine. But there's a band that a member had died, and they kept going.
Yeah, and they've won Grammys, they've won multiple awards. They're considered like
There it goes. Said that
Oh.
was gonna happen.
yeah, our studio is falling apart as we get ready for the move.
Yeah, we're just not gonna pick it up. I mean, we'll put it back on the wall.
I feel like I'm part of the
eventually.
family because I'm like, oh, when we move.
Yeah, Kenny, where you been all my life? But yeah, you said they won Grammys. MTV Icons was even like had a whole Metallica thing. They are
Snoop Talica.
yeah, that's fucking crazy. Sum 41 did Metallica medley. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was like 4 songs all put together.
Avril Lavigne.
It was nuts.
What's one band that maybe had a lead singer or a member? Well, usually bands will continue if they have a member die, because the bassist from Slipknot, he died. They're continued on, but usually when if a lead singer dies, it's 50-50 if the band's going to continue on. So like, what's one band that maybe had a lead singer who died who you would like to see keep going, maybe with the new lead singer, or maybe because their lead singer died, it like stunted their growth as a band?
Elvis Presley? No, I don't know.
While you think about it, I just want to make a comment that I was listening to the radio. It's probably like a month ago. No, it was longer than that, but I don't remember when. But they played "No Rain" by Blind Melon. Now, Blind Melon, everyone's heard that song "No Rain." The girl in the bumblebee outfit and everything. But the DJ, after the song finished, she's like, "Yeah, that was Blind Melon. They went on a hiatus for a while, and now they're back recording new songs. Going out on tour." And I was like, their lead singer died, and they broke up for fucking 12 years. That's what happened. They didn't go on hiatus.
Fucking idiot.
They just decided to get back together with a new lead singer because their lead singer had died.
I can't really think of one.
Typo negative?
Yeah. I feel like they hit their peak around that time. The whole industrial phase was going on, and
Do you remember the game show they had to like get the new lead singer of Typo Negative?
No.
They had a game show on CBS in the early 2000s. It was like because American Idol had just hit, and everyone wanted to have like a big singing competition. So they had oh god, I forgot what it's called, but whoever won would become the new lead singer of Typo Negative, and the judges were the people from Typo Negative.
Oh, that's crazy weird.
Yeah, and I was like, this is the most ridiculous concept for a show ever. Because what are you gonna do? Be like, season 2, we have, the Outlaws. They want to find the next Tupac.
Yeah. You just switch bands and the judges every single time. I don't know, man. I really can't think of a band, where the lead singer died, and I kind of, just want to see him keep going.
Nirvana?
Like, for sure. I really wish that, but
I think that's
I
more
wouldn't.
of a case, though, where you don't want him to die.
Yeah. I mean, that's one that, I wish didn't. But I couldn't see them going on and, still being Nirvana that I loved. Because not only was Kurt the singer, he was the only guitarist in the band as well. You know what I mean? It's hard to match that vibe, man. Well, okay, Pat Smear, touche.
And Jason Everman on the first album.
Yeah. Why didn't they, try to continue then? Like, maybe that was it. It was just too much heartbreak. They couldn't do it. Because that's a hard thing for a band to do. If you're, that's your friend. That's not, just somebody you're an acquaintance with. That's like your family member dying. And then to continue that's gotta be a lot of hurt. I just can't imagine. Like, I discussed this before, but after the burial, their guitarist committed suicide. And, they continued on going through interviews with the lead singer and, listening to him on stage. Like, it was a rough thing to do. They said they actually almost quit. You know what I mean? They weren't going to do it anymore because it's hard to do it and not think negatively, you know what I mean? Or not be sad about, damn, I wish he was still here with us right now. But maybe at the same time, that's what gave them that driving force to continue. Like, let's do it for him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I discussed, like, when I seen them live, Dig Deep had just came out, and that was the album they wrote after, he committed suicide. He kept saying, oh, this album was hard to write, and I had no idea what he was talking about till after the show. I was like, holy fuck, dude. Like, I can't imagine. Because it's a whole process to write a song, especially when you're playing, with a band. Aside from just sitting down and making your own music, like, you have to bounce your ideas off of everybody else, and everyone has their own sort of creative juices flowing, and once one of those pieces leave, like, especially if it's a good piece, like, I could see, hey, you're kicking somebody out of the band or something like that, or they had to leave or something, but if it was working with what was going on, it's a hard thing to imagine, like, okay, well, now how do we write this without blah blah blah,
Right.
It might change the way the band sounds entirely. It's not going to be the same shit. It's going to be different.
Yeah. I mean, I know we dick ride Nirvana here because we're both Nirvana people, but I actually read an interview with, like, Dave Grohl a few months ago where he said he hasn't listened to any Nirvana songs since Kurt Cobain killed himself. He won't listen to them anymore. He's like, I just can't go back.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, and that's really, that's really messed up because that was, your life for, what, 3-4 years? That's what you did. You went on tour. You have all these memories. And he's like, I just can't go back and listen to Nirvana.
I don't know. That's hard to think about, man.
Yeah.
Like, is it because it makes him sad, or what did it say?
Oh, well, he just said, like, it was kind of like a thing where he was like, I think it makes him miss Kurt. Is kind of what he was going at. Like,
yeah.
Like, when he listens to it, he has to think about, all the times he had with Kurt, and then he just...
They had times, they had fun, they had seasons in the sun.
He can't go back and just revisit that.
And like, most recently, I guess, or more recently, not most recently, but James Heineman from Slayer had died.
Yeah.
And,
he had, like, a flesh-eating bacteria, too. It was some crazy shit.
Yeah, it's a weird way to get. It's not the stereotypical, hey, he OD'd, blah 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 blah, or
no, he got bit
like
by like a spider or something.
That's what I'm talking about. But didn't you as well?
Did I get bit by a spider?
Remember back in high school, you had that fucking thing on your arm?
I had a staph infection.
Was it staph, and
Yeah,
you
it was
didn't know if it was a fucking black recluse
I
that
didn't
bit
know.
you, or
I didn't know if like a black recluse had bit me, and I found it was a staph infection. That was like over the MRSA scare was big.
yeah, that's
So
weird.
I wasn't allowed to, because I played football. Well, I wasn't allowed to ride the bus with the football team to one of the games.
They put you on quarantine.
One of the kids like complained to his mom, and his mom called in and was like, "I don't want him riding the bus with my son.
Yeah.
What if he gets it too?" I'm like, "Are you retarded? Like, you have to have a cut or something. Like, I have to take my wound and rub it against like an open wound in your skin." And I'm on like 8 antibiotics right now. Because you do have to, whenever you have a staph infection, you do have to like kind of quarantine yourself. You can't.
Yeah.
But
It is infectious for sure.
yeah, it's very infectious.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things.
So off topic there, I apologize, but I mean, I guess that's what happened, Heinemann. Then, so
He got bit by a spider. He got a flesh-eating bacteria, and it killed him.
that's fucking crazy. And I mean, they carried on, and you know they still do their tours now. They picked up the guitarist from fucking what band is that? I can't think of it.
I don't even know.
I forget his name. I seen them at Rock on the Range. It was weird because he played side stage with his other band, and then 45 minutes later played main stage with Slayer. And like, that's fucking nuts. Like, so he's in another band, and they're like, "Hey man, like we really like the way you play or something." I don't know how it happened. I'd like to read an interview on that and see.
When we get to our metal month, I do want to talk about like, the state of metal and how they have to keep on going back to like Slayer's headlining. I'm like, where's any other band that's made in the last fucking 25 years you get to headline? Because there's a lot of times they're like, this is a tour with Slayer, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, but
Slayer is like the epitome of metal. You know what I mean? Like, I guess
Metallica's the epitome of metal.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, speed metal maybe.
We are going to go talk about this during Metal Month, which was going to be a series of 4 podcasts we're going to have on metal.
Yeah, at least. Metal's a big thing for the both of us, so it's hard to talk about just, one day. Like,
Yeah.
like we said about genres, man, they're like fucking roots, and this came from that, and that comes from this, and now this made this, and,
Did you ever listen to A Static Lullaby?
I did.
I never actually listened to him, but I know a lot of people who were upset whenever.
He didn't die.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
Yeah. He didn't die?
No.
What band am I thinking of?
He had leukemia, but he beat it.
What band am I fucking thinking? Was it Suicide Season?
I don't even know if that's a band. That's an album by Bring Me the Horizon.
I am retarded, and I deserved every one of the 6 voicemails you left me last night telling me how much of a piece of shit I was, so.
So occasionally, I get drunk, and I had this party at my place last night for the UFC 241, and I invited Kenny, and he told me he'd try and make it out, and he didn't even answer my phone calls. So
At 3:30 in the morning.
well, I mean, I called you before that, and you didn't answer, but
I was probably still out.
yeah, it was 3:38 in the morning. I called Kenny 6 times and left him 6 voicemails telling him how much of a piece of shit he is, and like he said, he deserved it.
Yeah, I'm not even going to disagree there. Jeez.
Yeah, Static Lullaby. The lead singer had leukemia, and I mean, he beat it, but yeah, like he's the
Suicide Silence, that's who I was thinking of.
Suicide Silence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, not Suicide Season.
Yeah, didn't the lead singer kill himself? Or?
Mitch, yeah,
Yeah.
Mitch died.
I never listened to Suicide Silence, but I know like a lot of people who did, and they were like upset whenever that happened.
They were very heavy, man. They're one of the big hitters too. Actually, when Mitch died, there was a whole concert series, almost like the MTV Icon thing, but they had all these metal bands come in and they just played Suicide Silence songs. Like Phil Bozeman did a cover of one of Suicide Silence songs, man, and all these bands did that shit. It was, that's a sweet ass tribute. Like, but it was like a whole concert. They had, I think it was 10 different bands that did songs.
Jesus.
Like, they were a big influence. They're up there, and I mean, they definitely stopped now. Like Mitch's voice, like he could hit those growls like super low. Like, I'll play you some stuff. It's nuts. but you can't match it. Like going back to that, the lead singer wise, like if you're doing growls like metal like that, it's hard to find somebody like that who's already not in something else. You
Right.
know, like how do you get? Hey man, can you come over here and do this? But going back to Slayer, I just wanted to make a quick mention. I'd seen them play at Rock on the Range, and one of the coolest things that they did. I mean, obviously Slayer has fucking money. They've been around for so long, but their stage shows are phenomenal. And they played the song "Angel of Death." And when they played "Angel of Death," they dropped a banner behind them, and it was a Heineken bottle label, but it said Heinemann on it, and then "Angel of Death" along the bottom. And I was like, dude, that's fucking sweet.
That is
You
pretty
know what I
sweet.
mean? Like they went and got that made, and you know, that's that's them. Like that's their driving force. They're gonna keep going because of him, not stop because that happened. Going back to the early 2000s and revisiting an old episode, but Hawthorne Heights, their screamer died. It was a accident, from what they said. It wasn't really an overdose, I guess, but it was involved with Vicodin and alcohol. So they found him on the tour bus dead, and they kept going. They kept touring. I mean, they wanted to stay a band. They were popular, especially at the time. You know what I mean? That was huge. That whole screamo emo phase, and it was their screamer who died, and they just said, hey, we're not going to replace him whatsoever. Like, we're going to keep going. If you guys want to listen to us and you want to hear screaming in our music, you're just going to have to scream for yourselves. I was like, okay, respect.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want anybody else because they don't want to replace. How do you replace a friend like that? So I guess from a business aspect of things, if you are that big, like, whether someone dies or not, like we talked about Lamb of God, they just parted ways with Chris Adler, but he's on hiatus, literally, and they want to keep moving forward, and they can't sit around and wait any longer, so.
Yeah, and even with Slipknot, they had volume 3, or no, they had chapter 4 came out, and Paul Gray died, and then the next one was called the Gray Chapter.
So that little own tribute there, too.
Yeah, that was like their thing. The next album was named after him. And oh, jeez. The only band that I can think of that lost an instrumentalist and like never went on, like could never get back together again was Pantera.
Yeah.
You can't have Pantera without Dimebag Darrell.
You can't.
And he actually got killed because even you look at Whitesnake, or is it Whitesnake that I'm thinking of? Which band was playing
Great White.
Great White
When the show caught on fire.
when the show caught on fire?
Yeah.
They kept on going on, and like 3 people died in that fire.
Yeah.
Or it was 2 or 3 members died in that fire, and they just kept on going on.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the footage of that?
Yeah, it was a really small venue, and they were doing pyrotechnics, so.
Yeah, but have you ever actually watched like the whole video?
No.
It's something like it's really heavy to watch.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because it's one of the fans in the crowd who was recording, and you watch it like light on fire, and like he makes it out, and before you know it, the whole building's like up.
Yeah, that's nuts. Because it was a small bar. It wasn't like a big venue,
Yeah, and they didn't, because it pretty much as soon as like one of those sparks hit one of those tiles, they were just up. Because they played maybe like 15 seconds into a song.
I mean, that's rough.
Yeah, this is kind of a heavy episode.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a really good topic, man. There
Yeah.
are a lot that I can think of personally, and like, I don't want to be biased here too. Like I was talking with my buddy Daniel. He was on our first episode. He was our little Jamie there, but he told me like like, oh, you guys are like really into bands and stuff. He's like, I don't get into rock music all like that. Like he's a big rap guy. So he's like, yeah. So some of the episodes I listen to, I don't really get what you're saying because I'm not into that stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, cool. I was like, well, we're gonna do everything. We're gonna broaden,
Yeah.
We
yeah.
we have certain topics on certain things, but
We're still
like,
relatively
we talk about rappers, and all we mentioned was like Biggie and Tupac. But
Jam Master Jay
yeah,
from Run DMC.
that was sad.
And the fucked up part is like he was just in his studio recording, and somebody just ran out there, shot him to death, and ran back out.
That's
Like,
fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe maybe this is me being biased, but I feel like with the rap game, there's a lot of more gangster activity that happens, and you got when it comes to rappers dying. I mean, you do hear of overdoses and whatnot, but a lot of times it's gun violence. You know what I mean, or gang related bullshit.
Or Easy not wearing a condom.
There's a picture of Eazy-E, and he's wearing his hat, his fitted, and he has a sombrero on top of it. And it says below, like, man, I can't believe he's really wearing a hat underneath his sombrero. And somebody else commented, yo, I can't believe this motherfucker could wear two hats but still couldn't wear a condom. I was like, Jesus fuck.
It's true.
Yeah, and that was sad, especially when the movie came out. You really got a more feel of it and understood what was going on. Like, he knew he was sick, but he didn't want to tell anybody. Up, it finally fell the whole way off. That sucks. But, yeah, he didn't want to, just...
Well, he didn't tell anybody like the very end, and him and Dre made up because they had that big rap feud. Because I forgot what Dr. Dre's song is. Whenever he's like, "I used to know a bitch named Eric," right? I'm like, damn. Tell us how you really feel.
That's fucking crazy.
But then they made up toward the end, and then even Dr. Dre raps about Easy a little bit on 2001.
Yeah.
He's like, "I miss you, Easy."
Yeah.
I was like, man, you guys were going to kill each other in the early 90s.
I mean, he did some fucked up shit, though. Trying to keep all the money.
Yeah.
And keep everybody else down and him rich. So, that's the way it goes. Most recent death in that community that I can think of that really impacted me was fucking Mac Miller. That fucking sucked, man. I listen to Mac shit all the time. When I lived in Pittsburgh, I lived right outside of Squirrel Hill for a little while, and I was like, dude, like, this motherfucker grew up here, you know what I mean? Like, the album Kids was fucking phenomenal. This guy came out with some shit that you don't hear people fucking rapping about. Like
cartoons and cereal.
Yeah, or Kool-Aid and frozen pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, he has some really neat shit.
I take that back. Cartoons and cereal was not a Mac Miller song.
No.
I was thinking of the frozen pizza one. I got it mixed up.
Yeah, Kool-Aid and frozen pizza. It's
I
a work of art. I ain't talking Mona Lisa. But he even raps shit like, he goes, something, I'm making waffles, but there's no syrup left in my bottle. But that's okay. I'll top it off with some scrambled eggs. Gotta work with what you got. And I was like, dude, this is a fucking sick line. Like, I was like, okay. And the whole time I'm just like, man, this is sweet, And Kids, like, he plays a lot of stuff from the movie Kids, but it's an acronym for kicking incredibly dope shit. Like, I was like, this is a sweet ass fucking album, man. And that was a drug death there, man. I do believe it was fentanyl that killed him. When the talk screen came back, but that's fucked up, man. He didn't reach 27.
No,
I think he died at 26 or 25. So
I think he was 25.
That's upsetting. Knowing, okay, he definitely smoked some weed for sure. He talks about it all the fucking time. But he was really young when he got famous. Like, for instance, they let him host the MTV Music Awards when he was fucking 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was getting drunk that night. Like, it's hard to not imagine that, but you get kind of hide it. So maybe he blew up too quick, like, for being so young. You know what I mean? But still amazing, and a lot of people were affected by that one. It's weird too. Me personally, like, I'll go and I'll listen to an album when somebody dies and, like, see the progression, especially like with a rapper. It's more personal because it's like one single person, and like his last album, like, you can really tell how he's starting to deal with shit in his fucking head. Like the song Self Care, like the video's fucking crazy. He's inside of a coffin, like, buried alive, and
I think I have seen that one.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to a lot of Mac Miller.
He starts smoking cigarettes in it. It's I was like, what the fuck? He eventually, climbs out and makes it out, but that's, I don't know, is that an innuendo? He's like, hey man, I'm burying myself alive right now, and how do you take that? I hope to see some shit by him drop, that's hopefully unreleased, and we get to hear what was going on. It's like going back to Nirvana again when
the box set came out in 2006.
Yeah, you got to hear so much shit, man. But I really like the song off the self-titled Nirvana album. You know, you're right. I
Yeah.
think we talked about that too. But you got to see where they were going, and it's like, fuck, dude. Like,
I wish I could have seen that. Yeah.
you know, it's you don't throw away all your shit though. Like those are memories. You're gonna keep those like crazy.
Cartoons in Sierra was a Kendrick song, by the way. I apologize.
Kendrick?
Yeah.
Oh, Lamar. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Kendrick Lamar dropped Cartoons in Sierra. That's. I got it mixed up with Mac Miller for his Kool-Aid and frozen pizza because it's basically along the same lines, though. You know.
Yeah, like same shit.
Yeah.
I mean, who else can you think of? Like, I guess what was it? Lil Peep had died. I didn't really listen to them, and then Temptation, Triple X Temptation.
Yeah.
He just died.
I don't listen to that stuff.
See,
like,
I didn't really
I
either.
don't like the mumble rap game. Is just it's garbage.
Yeah.
I
I listened to a couple Temptation songs, and I mean they're fucking bangers.
Yeah.
Like the beats, like you put that shit on a system, I mean you're gonna blow a subwoofer, like that. So I like that.
I do like it's really cool though. Talking with the like the Gray chapter, like that was Paul Gray's album, you know. But then these artists will do like tribute songs because even if you listen to "Thank You Next" by Ariana Grande, she says like, "I wish I could say thank you to Malcolm because he was an angel." So she's like throwing back like, "Yeah, I missed Mac Miller," you know, in a way because I mean they dated for what like years.
Yeah, and she said the whole reason they broke up was his drug habit and shit. She said, you clean up, then we'll talk about it. But like she got a lot of shit too when he died.
Yeah.
Like people blaming her for his death. You're the whole fucking reason. He probably did it on purpose. You left him, and he just got way worse in the shit. And it's like, what do you do, man? That's toxicity. You can't.
You can't.
You gotta
stay with
cut that out of your life, man.
Because I mean, when you do that, maybe hopefully they'll change.
Yeah, and personal speaking, like I've seen that
you know.
happen. But what'd you say?
We'll talk about it after.
Dick.
Well, I mean, that was the thing too with like Sid and Nancy from Sid from the Sex Pistols, the bassist.
Oh, okay.
Because they have the whole. There was even a movie called Sid and Nancy, but they were just kind of toxic to each other. And then he probably killed her, and then in like a drunken, drugged out rage, probably killed her, and then ended up killing himself.
Yeah.
They
That's
weren't
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they were already like done by that point, right?
No, because even like whenever they interviewed him, they were like, "Well, where do you want to be right now?" He's like, "I want to be dead so I can be with Nancy."
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to grasp. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. That's what happens.
And then Seven Dust had their Seven Dust had a tribute song too to Lynn Strait from Snot because the guitarist Sonny Mayo from Snot went to Seven Dust, and he's like, "Hey, can we write this tribute song?" They were like, "Yeah." So they wrote that song, and then they ended up kicking him out of the band because the original guitarist was like, "Hey, I want to come back to Seven Dust." They're like, "All right, Sonny, get." It's kind of shitty. Yeah.
A shitty thing to do to somebody.
Well, I think he went back to Snot, which again they haven't had like any. They had their one album in, like '96 and they haven't, or '98, and they haven't done anything since. They've done a few shows with different lead singers and stuff, but no album releases. No
new shit.
They have like I think 5 new songs, but those were released over a period of like years. So
yeah, it's not like an EP dropped.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, we got this new one here. 5 years later, hey, we got another one. Album's coming now. Maynard. Tribute songs, like for people who died, like going back to what I originally said, how big of an influence people were.
I have to return some DVDs. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. But talking about Pantera, Nickelback actually wrote a song called "Side of a Bullet," and that's probably the only Nickelback song I like. A lot of people talk shit on them, but that was a song that was about Dimebag Darrell and how he died. Like, he got shot on stage. I don't know, like the whole song, they go through exactly what happened. They, from the background, you could hear somebody scream, "Oh my God, please don't let him pull it!" And it's some guy with a shotgun running up on stage, and fucking shooting Dimebag, dude. Like, that's a weird, thing to talk about, too. Like, going from what we just said about rappers, like, that dude was fucking weird and crazy. Like, to run up on stage at a live show and fucking, shoot a person with a fucking shotgun of all things. You know what I mean? It wasn't a pistol or anything. It was a big boomstick. Well, I guess it was sawn off, I do believe. But that's weird. Then you got, like attempted deaths, like with 50 Cent. Like, when he came out, he would literally rap in a bulletproof vest at his shows because people put threats out on his life.
He got shot 9. Well, I mean, that was like a big marketing play of his too. He's like, I
Yeah.
got shot 9 times.
Yeah. I remember talking to who. I think it was like a Facebook thread or something I was commenting on, but somebody's like, yeah, something 50 Cent. Like, yeah, he fucking raps like he got some shit in his mouth. It's like, a motherfucker got shot in the cheek. Like, how the fuck you think you would talk?
Yeah.
You fucking retard. Like, whatever. He's still out there.
He got rich and he didn't die trying.
Yeah.
But he was willing to die trying.
Yeah, he was willing. Like, you got a lot of shit that's weird with that, too. Like, him and Ja Rule's beef is crazy, but if I'm not mistaken, Ja Rule stabbed him, or 50 stabbed Ja Rule when the lights went out of the show. And
I don't know. I actually never heard this before, so.
oh, yeah, we can look it up exactly, but they say it was 50. Ja Rule calls him out and calls him a bitch. But the lights went out at the show, and somebody pulled out a knife and stabbed him, and they said it was 50 Cent. I could be wrong on that. I'm going to look it up. Hold on. Because that actually bugs me.
I will continue talking.
Go ahead.
We were talking about Alice in Chains or Lane Staley. He was big into drugs, too. Like, toward the end of his life. The last photo of Lane Staley was like a year and a half before his death, whenever he took a picture with his newborn, like, nephew. And then the only reason anyone knew something was up was because the person who did his finances noticed that he hadn't taken out any money for 2 weeks. So they called the police and had him do a checkup call. So they go to Lane Staley's mansion or house or apartment, wherever he lived, and they find him dead of a heroin overdose, and he'd actually been dead for 2 weeks.
That's fucked.
And they said whenever they found his body, he was only like 110 pounds or something.
Jesus.
Because he'd been so strung out on heroin for so long. Because even if you watch the MTV Live and Unplugged with Lane Staley, it's like inside and he's wearing sunglasses and a sweater and shit because he's just fucked up. And it's really sad because Lane was such an incredible voice too. Alice in Chains is an incredible band, but like, you can't hit Lane Staley the same way you can't hit like a Chris Cornell, and Chris Cornell was another one that just, you can't have Soundgarden without Chris Cornell because his voice is so unique. And unfortunately, he succumbed to suicide, and then Chester Bennington was one too that he succumbed to suicide, and him and Chris Cornell were like best friends. And Linkin Park still doing some shows. With that one, you have Mike Shannone too, so.
Yeah, you got another singer there, but I mean that's a big deal. Chester Bennington was huge.
Chester was more like the big voice though too.
Going back to what I was saying, it was 50 Cent who got stabbed, not the other way around. But yeah, it led to an altercation during which 50 suffered a stab wound and led to the arrest of Ja Rule and Murder Inc. rapper Black Child, who has taken the credit for stabbing him on record, but 50 says it was Ja Rule because he's a bitch. So that's weird. Did I tell you about him purchasing tickets
No.
to Ja Rule's show?
No. Oh, yeah, he purchased like the entire front row.
200 seats.
50 Cent is savage as fuck.
Motherfucker's
Like the time whenever he
crazy.
was like, I will pay $1 million to Floyd Mayweather if he can read the first page of a Harry Potter novel.
Yeah.
And he said, no, he would give $1 million for like any charity that Floyd Mayweather wanted if he could read the first page of a Harry Potter novel. Mayweather never did it.
No, because he probably can't.
do it.
Oh, fuck. But yeah, going back to Chester Bennington and Linkin Park, I don't know if you know the conspiracy theory behind that as well, but him and Cornell were supposedly involved with trying to break up sex rings and child trafficking. And there's conspiracy behind their death, saying that they didn't actually commit suicide, like they were murdered. And it's a cool thing to look into. It's kind of weird though. But you look at shit like look at Chester and how many fucking kids he had. Like,
Yeah,
how
but
do you
there's
do
there's
that?
also a conspiracy that says Suge Knight injected Eazy-E with AIDS. Now, Suge Knight is a piece of shit human being
Yeah.
because he ran that. Like, I mean, have you ever seen the footage of him running that guy over and killing him?
No.
He's like backing his truck up and he runs over this guy and then he runs him over again.
So he, like,
And his defense,
backs over him and then pulls forward and drives again.
yeah, basically.
Wow.
And his defense was, well, I'm like legally blind. He's in jail, but
And he should
the
be.
founder of Death. Suge Knight is the founder of Death Row Records for anyone who's done
Yeah, he should be the one in jail for killing
injecting.
Pac.
People think he killed Pac too.
Yeah.
There's a conspiracy.
Everybody
theory.
says P Diddy knows who did it. Like I think Eminem talks about that on his new album. Like he talks about
How P. Diddy knows who killed him.
Yeah, he knows that Suge Knight killed him, but he don't want to say something. Like that's a whole fucking ball game of fucking bullshit. Like it's crazy to read about.
If you look at the conspiracy theories behind like Biggie and Pac, it gets pretty fucking deep and it's really crazy. I actually did a paper in college. They were like, "What topic do you want to talk about?" And I was like, "I'm gonna talk about Tupac." And I talked about how like if you like read like actual, articles by like scholarly articles by like professors or different people, and they talk about the death of Tupac, you can see that they're like, yeah, he's dead. But then if you go to like all these conspiracy websites, they're like, nah, man, Pac's alive. And honestly, I feel that Pac is dead, but maybe he's alive. I mean, he had a lot of shit coming.
Going along the conspiracy theory, though, you even said, towards the end of his career, he was Tupac Machiavelli. Now, Machiavelli himself, like the real Machiavelli, one of his most famous works is he wrote a book about faking your own death in order to fool your enemies, coming back 32 years later. So everybody was waiting for this release, and he never showed his face again. So maybe he is dead. Maybe he just doesn't want to come back.
It hasn't been 32 years yet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I guess you're right. I think that's the number, if I'm not mistaken. But, so that plays really well into that conspiracy theory. That's fucking crazy.
Motherfucker's going to have a lot of back taxes whenever he comes back.
That's why he released 8 albums after he died, because he needed the money.
He's like, he's really stopping the IRS and be like, yo, where's our money? He'd be like, shit, I didn't think this through.
Man. Yo, my bad, bro. You think he can go to jail for faking his own death? Is it legal?
I mean,
Gotta be.
If he's paying his taxes, he's fine. But if he isn't paying his taxes, he's going to jail for fucking, tax evasion.
Yeah. That's fucked up. But, yeah, Chester Bennington, going back to
And
that.
imagine if, like, because a lot of people think that Biggie got killed as retaliation for Tupac dying. Imagine if the person called Biggie and you're like, fuck, Pac's still alive. I fucked up.
Dude, I feel like such an asshole.
Yeah, I was cool with it until right now when I found out they just,
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to hell. Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Chester Bennington, though.
Okay, going back to that, yeah. Like, right after he died, the band took the hiatus, and they took their break and their time, but I was watching a concert where they played the song Numb live, and they didn't sing, but the whole crowd did. It was fucking unreal, dude.
That's powerful.
Like, goosebumps, bro. It was nuts, man. Like, they're, like, crying on stage. You know what I mean? It's... Like, they were one of, the first, like, kind of rock band like that I got into. I remember buying Hybrid Theory back when I was fucking 13.
I didn't buy Hybrid Theory until I was, like, 25.
Jeez. But, that
behind.
was... His voice is so good, man. It's,
Yeah. It fits exactly what they were trying to do.
Yeah. And he's sweet as fuck. I don't know. It's sad.
Look at a band like
See
Queen. Queen, too. I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
No, I was thinking, like, it's sad to see that, but, like, it's a shame to look back on your memories about all this. Like, dude, man, like I see why people could cry, and get so upset for not knowing a person, but, that touched your life in such a way, like, that made an impact on you. So,
Right.
It's fucked, man.
Look at a band like Queen though, where like there's no way you're ever gonna place Freddie Mercury.
No way.
Like he's one of the greatest vocalists of all time.
Yeah.
But they're still. I think they have a Vegas residency actually with Adam Lambert.
What do you mean?
I mean they have a residency in Vegas. Like they just play, 4 times a week in Las Vegas at one of the casinos.
Oh, I had no idea.
I know Shania, like, that, people were like, Garth Brooks is retired. I'm like, no, he got a Vegas residency for like 10 years. Like, he'll probably, like, once that's over, he might come back. Because Garth Brooks just lived in Vegas for like 10, 15 years and played 3 or 4 shows every night, 3 or 4 shows a week and made his money. But I think Queen is on the same deal with Adam. They have Adam Lambert as their singer now. Because they're not going to write any music. They're not going to make any more songs. But they still want to, play live in front of people. So they play this, they play Killer Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Adam Lambert's their singer now.
So we were discussing when we first tried to record this episode, irony. I think it's ironic that Fat Bottom Girls exist. Like, Freddie Mercury wrote a song about women.
Right.
That's irony.
And
He's
even
gay.
Even like somebody was like, I love the song Somebody to Love, and I was like, that's about men.
Yeah.
They were like, wow, you ruined the song for me now because he's just singing about like a mustache bearded like bear. Like that's what he wants. Big hairy man. Or maybe I don't know what kind of I don't know what Freddie Mercury was into, so to each his own. To each gay man his own.
Yeah.
Whatever you like, that's cool, man.
Whether you're a power bottom or a top, you're still cool in my book.
You can be a twink, a twank, a twunk. Bear, otter, doesn't matter.
I hate you. Oh man. Something else I was gonna say. One band that we didn't touch on, which we said we would, and we haven't. Fucking Leonard Skinner, man. Huge, and that was a tragedy. That was a plane accident.
Yeah, and I forget which member it was. He got out of the plane, like the plane crashed. And he came out of the plane, like, covered in blood. And he was, like, belligerent because, like, he was all fucked up. And he goes to this farmer's house. So, here's a man just screaming, covered in blood. The farmer comes out with a shotgun and shoots at him.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do in that situation? You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the guy didn't know there was a plane wreck.
Yeah.
So, all he sees is this guy just screaming, covered in blood. Like, beating at his front door. So he just came out with a shotgun and was like shooting at him.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
then Leonard Skinner went on for. I mean, it was the brother of the original lead singer is the lead singer now.
Okay.
And then I don't even know who the. I mean, how many?
I think 3 people died in that plane crash.
Okay.
Let me double check. I can't remember exactly, but
we're gonna have a Jamie soon.
Yeah.
So.
My dad is a huge Skinner fan, and
Leonard Skinner's probably like the one too that
they were from Jacksonville, Florida. When they started out, like he tells me stories all the fucking time because he lives in Jacksonville. Like he talked with them all the time. He knows them and shit. But he said they used to just play out in a fucking shed in the swamp. Like that was their start. Like and they got huge, man. They're like that Southern Pride band.
Oh no, Leonard Skinner is like the epitome of Southern rock.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be able to make an argument for like CCR, but Leonard Skinner is the epitome of Southern rock. Leonard Skinner too. I mean, you always have those people too at concerts are like play Freebird, but it's kind of a dick thing to do. Don't do that at concerts. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, it was 3 people from the band died, but 6 total died in that plane crash.
Oh, both pilots.
Yeah, it was Ronnie Van Zant and siblings guitarist Steve Gaines and Cassie Gaines. But yeah, my dad's huge on Steve Gaines.
God, I remember being a kid. Speaking of like musicians and plane wrecks, I just remember being a little kid, and John Denver died in a plane crash.
So did Left Eye from TLC.
Yeah, well, Left Eye died in a bus accident. No, it was a.
I thought it was a plane crash.
No, it was a car accident. She was in. pull out the cell phone and prove it wrong. I'm pretty sure that the vehicle she was in got overturned and she ended up dying. Because she was in, I think it was Brazil or something, for like a humanitarian mission.
Yeah, it says traffic collision.
Yeah.
Oh, then it's Ashanti that died in the plane crash.
Maybe. And who was the big Latin American singer who died in the mid 90s? I think she got stabbed or some shit.
Oh, never mind. Aaliyah. Why did I say Ashanti?
Was it Selena? No, that was a movie.
Yeah, Aaliyah died in a plane crash in 2001. I don't know if you remember her or not.
No.
She was a kind of like around that time, like TLC and that kind of poppy shit. But she had that song, Dust Yourself Off, Try Again, Try Again. Let me see. What did you say?
It was a Latin American singer in the
Latin
early to
American
mid 90s.
singer.
She died, but I forget what her name was. She was huge too at the time.
Jenny Rivera?
No. I think it was Selena. I think her name was like Selena.
Celine Dion?
No, not Celine Dion. Celine Dion's still alive. She had
Was it a plane crash? What was it? Give me some.
I think she got murdered. She got
died
stabbed
in early 90s.
They made a movie about her.
I can't.
Okay,
I think this is a chick that you're talking about.
Yeah. Keep on talking.
Is that her there? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, just keep on talking.
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep talking. Keep talking about how I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I don't know. It's hard to Google that because I don't know all the information. But that was, you said early 90s, man. Like 2001 and all that shit. We also lost a lot of people then too. So is he gonna find it?
It was Selena.
Selena.
Yeah.
I don't see. I'm not familiar, so I didn't actually know that. Apologize.
No, it wasn't. Was it? Jesus Christ.
You piece of shit. Kid.
I suck.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It sucks to suck, but it's all right. We believe in you. Excuse me for hitting this vape. I do apologize. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Marvin Gaye was another one too. Got shot to death by his own dad.
Marvin Gaye?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know his dad shot him to death?
No.
No, he was he got into like a fight with his dad, and he went. It was like over, like they were having like a family dinner, and he got into a fight with his dad. He went upstairs and took a nap, and his dad came with a gun and shot him.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an intense relationship that you have with your father then.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't imagine, like, that's horrible.
I mean, being a father myself, like, there's no way I could ever imagine doing that. Like, what would go through your head? Like, I get people get mad, but
Yeah, Marvin Gaye died in his sleep from a gunshot wound.
holy fuck. That's pretty sad. And Marvin Gaye was huge. I mean,
He had such a good voice, too.
yeah.
Sexual
I was gonna say
healing.
Marvin Gaye's the music you turn on when you making love to your woman. Like.
This is what you
Puts-
get for making money to fuck your mom.
Yeah. Oh.
Shouldn't joke about that stuff, though. That's really tragic.
Yeah, that is tragic. Trying to think of some other big ones, that I remember happening, and especially when I was younger.
John Lennon.
I mean, John Lennon, yeah. And that was also another shooting. That was outside of rap music. That was crazy. That guy who killed him was, like, obsessed.
Yeah, they said he used to just sit in his living room naked, just listening to John Lennon records. Like, he would just sit there and listen to them.
There was, like, conspiracy behind that one as well, because, I mean, John and Ono were pretty big on the movement around, that time with the Vietnam shit going on and stuff. They were really against protesting it and had a very influential movement. They had a lot of following with that, and, there's conspiracies. There's even a movie about it, a documentary about his death, and they said, you know how like people may have actually put a hit out on him.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. John Lennon's, big.
Andy Gibb.
I don't know Andy Gibb.
Andy Gibb was the youngest brother of the Bee Gees. So the Bee Gees were three guys, all brothers. Andy Gibb was the youngest one. He had a few hits in the 80s and he died of a heroin overdose.
Hmm.
And then the Bee Gees went on. Well, he was never part of the Bee Gees, but you could tell it like his death kind of influenced their music because you have three brothers making music. The one who's not in the band died because he's significantly younger. And then in the early 2000s, the next youngest brother died. He died of complications from surgery. And then the middle brother died. I think it was Maurice Gibb Andy Gibb was the youngest, and it was Maurice. He died from surgery. The middle brother died of cancer, and now you only have Barry Gibb left, and he's the oldest one.
That's unfortunate. I mean, that's definitely a band that stopped then too, because
once Maurice died, they just quit being a thing because he was like the keyboard player. I think he did the keyboards.
I'm not familiar. I mean, I know the Bee Gees, but not like that. You know what I mean?
That's my mother's favorite band of all time.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I know all this stuff about the Bee Gees.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Unexpected. Big one.
And they start.
Especially
the thing
recently.
with the Bee Gees too was they started whenever like Barry being the oldest one was like I think 17. They appear on like a British like game show or it was like a British show where they featured like a band and they like played and he still hit all those high notes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
From the Grateful Dead. As much as people talk shit about them, that was a very unfortunate thing, and still to this day, I mean, people hold him in such high regards.
Yeah.
Like amazing band. Like all jokes aside, I mean, their music, that's fucking talent.
If you want to listen to like an 18-minute long song, you listen to the Grateful Dead.
Fuck yeah. They, I mean, that was a huge movement. People still to this day. I mean, like you can get, there's like he lost his one finger, and was it the middle finger? I think it was. And like there's Jerry's palm. There's like T-shirts. It's just what it is because, if you're into that scene, that's a thing. But like there's even stickers with that and shit. But then like most recently, they came back, and they picked up John Mayer. And John Mayer plays with Bob Weir and I forget the other guy from the Grateful Dead. And it's a different band name now, but they do.
I was gonna say, I swear to God that years ago, whenever Jake and I did the weekly pickup, we talked about the Grateful Dead having a Fare Thee Well tour.
Yeah.
And that you could like stream live. So I'm pretty sure the Grateful Dead has been done. Unless they came back, because, I mean, Kiss had how many farewell tours?
Yeah. No, that was their final tour, the Fare Thee Well tour. I remember watching it. I still have, I'm two favorites on YouTube, but it's the guitarist from Phish actually filled in for Jerry and, like, played with them. Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's pretty fucking cool. Dead and Company, that's it. It's Bob Weir and Mickey Hart from the Grateful Dead, but John Mayer plays guitar and sings.
Just a real quick touch on Phish, though. Somebody I know has Sirius XM. Did you know there's a Phish radio now?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
They're a big deal, dude.
That's such a niche, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to them super heavy, but like you've said before, people who are into Phish are really into Phish.
Yeah.
My buddy Kevin Martin is like addicted to them, man. Like we fuck with them all the time.
I can't wait for there to be a Ween radio, because people who are into Ween are really into Ween.
Ween's sweet. I fucks with Ween.
I do fucks with Ween too.
They have some really weird songs too.
Push the Little Daisies.
They're neat. All right, man. Well, I think we touched on some good topics here today.
I was trying to I guess towards the end there, I was trying to mention as many as I could.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really talk super into those, but...
Listen, we fuck up on a lot of episodes. we should probably make notepads or something and stuff we think about like during the week. But because I mean, we were never talking about like female leads. We never touched on Paramore.
I was so drunk that episode, guys. I do apologize.
And I apologize for last week because I was super drunk too. Well,
all I did was just fuck with you. Yeah, how did we forget Paramore? And we're talking about female leads.
Yeah,
Haley Collins, Jesus.
Yeah. So there was that, and then we're gonna try and do better. You guys need to give us some input though. Like, tell us what you want to see, what you want to hear. Like, what do you want us to talk about, and then we can try and do better.
Give us some feedback too. Like, throw a comment to us, and hey, maybe we can touch base on that on another episode or something, and be like, holy fuck, guys, we actually forgot about blah 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah. Because even grunge, like, we didn't talk about Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
So we'll try and get all that back in. Eventually, maybe we'll do like a redo of like every episode where we're like grunge part 2.
Yeah, we'll revisit some stuff, I think, for sure.
So,
but give us some topics too, man. Like, shout out to Dante. We got another one from him actually. We can do here soon. So it's nice to have ideas that, like, because there are times Kenny and I are just like, dude, what are we gonna talk about this week? And we're like, fuck, I don't know, man. And
Josh
then we come up with
the vape box, and I'm eating a fucking Quaker granola bar.
Yeah.
Wow.
That used to be a whole episode.
Just you vaping and me eating fucking granola bars.
Yeah.
Just a stack of them. And just, we're not going to quit until this whole pile's done.
I'm going to vape this until this bottle of juice is empty, my boys.
All right. Go on to our Facebook page. Give us a like. Find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. Be sure to go to YouTube and subscribe to us. That is the biggest, most important thing right now, is getting more YouTube subscribers.
We're getting pretty big on YouTube. We got a lot of views on there, and I appreciate everybody who loves the visual aspect as well as, like, the actual talking.
Van Damme says he likes SoundCloud better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can throw it on when you're driving and stuff. It's easy.
Well, he used to throw it on YouTube while I was driving. Now he throws it on Sound. He did the SoundCloud. He's like, I kind of like that one better.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also, hopefully next week here, like we said, we're gonna have Mikhail Russell on. Mike's not actually like in a band at the moment. I'm trying to pick him up actually.
But he made our theme song. So.
He made our theme song that you guys hear on YouTube every time. Mike's talented guitarist, and he writes his own music and he mixes everything at his house. So, be cool to listen to him and see what Mike's got to say. But if you guys have any bands that you are big fans of locally, please do me a favor and drop me a message, whether it be on my personal Facebook or on the E Squared page, because I want to get a lineup. And if you guys have a band that you want us to interview and we can get a hold of them and get in touch, that'd be sweet. So do us that favor and put our name out there. You know what I mean? So
just again, like, share, subscribe, click the bell on YouTube to stay notified. Come hit us up. And we have been the Extraordinary Expletive.
We'll see you next week, guys. Keep it classy.